And we are live. Welcome back to Aussies taking over the NBA. It is Thursday night, 12th of March, and the NBA has been suspended.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
But I feel
But
fine, man. I feel fine.
you'll be fine for now.
This
You'll be
season, the Warriors has just been a total write-off. I'm all right
this.
with this.
It's okay. It's okay. This has been probably the strangest season of basketball I think that's ever conducted itself. And now it's over, and it's not coming back. Let's be realistic here. It's not coming back. G League's not coming back.
College? Are they going to end up playing that behind closed doors? NCAA?
Yes, I think they're going to play the NCAA behind closed doors, but I dare say that'll get canned just before. This virus is endemic in America now. It's
they'll be
everywhere.
riddled. All those unis will be absolutely riddled with that
Just
virus, I reckon.
riddled. For our American overseas listeners here, people that are coming back from the USA now are being screened for COVID and having it. So no further travel than just the USA, and they're getting it there. So that tells you it's pretty endemic in the population there, and that's kind of it. The Olympics will be cancelled, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any more Boomers basketball for at least 12 months.
Technically, the Olympics, it hasn't been cancelled, and I haven't seen like concrete. Yep, it's definitely going to be cancelled. I've kind of seen like they're trying to want to keep it going, but whether that happens, I don't know.
So Japan is actually deflating their numbers to try and keep it because they've spent so much money on it, and they're not going to realize in those tourism dollars because of the virus.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's a huge revenue. You spend a huge amount of money and you get it back because you invest and people come stay and they spend money in your country and you get the tax revenue. But it's not going ahead, man. We've already seen today the US suspend all flights from all entries from America. India has suspended all travel outside of India. So you cannot get a visa for 30 days from any country outside of India. It's only allowing Indian citizens to fly home, which again is, a recipe for disaster because it's everyone that's got it now. I've been following this thing pretty closely since it kind of erupted in January, and we're all fucked.
Yeah, you reckon you're going down the dark path of we're all fucked? I just kind of been thinking about world structures, the stability of society. It's all based around community, like going out and doing things. Let's go watch a basketball game. Let's go and watch sport. Let's go and here and do this. Let's go and be together and do this. And then, like, as you grow up, you don't think about the actual structures and the mechanics of how all of this stuff happens. Like, you don't think about the roadie who pulled in half of the floor the night before and then took half the floor away the day after for the the ice hockey in the same arena. Like, you don't think about that stuff really until something like this happens, where it makes you think about just how much logistically happens in the NBA and how close they all are, and how it's just like they've all got to be riddled, man. Like we heard today, Rudy Gobert. That was pretty much the catalyst to shut down the NBA. Rudy Gobert has been diagnosed with COVID. That's 100%, yeah?
Yeah, it's 100%. Same as Emmanuel Mudiay.
Yeah.
So he's got it, and you got to think that most of the Jazz staff have got to have it now. It was pretty funny. It's ironic. The dude that was just being an ass about COVID-19 ends up being the player that gets COVID. There was a great meme today. It's like Rudy Gobert has won Defensive Player of the Year. He shut down the entire NBA.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But I mean, the flow-on effect, like I was just discussing it with you before we went live. Like, it's like you go backwards. Rudy, the entire Jazz team, who the Jazz have played in the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks, you reckon? 2 weeks or 1 week?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. It could have up to 3 weeks. It's up to 27 days incubation period. But you'd have to think that it would probably most likely be within the last 3 weeks.
So you would think going back, you would think the NBA now would be like, right, test everyone, test the entire, like everyone, staff, players, the entire organization's front office, just every single person, test everyone. Do they have enough, do they have enough infrastructure to test all these people? That's one thing.
Well, I think testing is irrelevant now in the US because it is so endemic and he's going through the population that once you have community transfer of this virus, the isolation method doesn't really work. And
Mm.
because you'd have to track back 2 weeks, and he's been breathing on people and sweating on people, it's there. It's going to be transferred. All these players are going to have it. The staff, the coaches. It's just going to spread and spread and spread. There's one estimate. Even Angela Merkel, the German chancellor, came out said pretty much that 58 million to 60 million Germans will get this virus in the next 12 months. It's all about the slowing down of the communicability of the virus to stop overburdening of the healthcare system. And in Australia, we're doing that semi-successfully. It is ramping up, and it's probably within the community that we don't know about yet. And we're probably about 2 to 2.5 weeks away from Italy levels of transmissibility, because we haven't shut things down yet. But yeah, man, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world.
Yeah, so all of these things are based around, what the NBA sells as an entertainment business. Come and watch these people do this thing in an arena where you sit around with hundreds of other people. Like, how is the NBA going to recover business wise from this, unless they kind of change tack and go down a path of maybe, we'll change the way, like, we'll play games behind closed doors, and we'll change the way we broadcast out the sport, make NBA free, ramp up the ads or something like that. I know, I get the fact that the players are infected now, and then there's probably not going to be player on player. They're going to have to screen everyone in the NBA, and I reckon, more and more players are going to come out, and they're going to be like, yeah, this guy has it, that guy has it, this guy has it, and it's all probably going to get shut down. But I mean,
so how you move on from here as a business is that there will probably have to be a meeting with the NBPA, and looking at, because this will cost a lot of money, right? We're 56 games of the season. We've still got a lot of games to televise. We've still got playoffs to televise, which is the huge revenue stream for the NBA. We know that this is shut down, so all their revenue shut down because all the advertising, TV rights. They've still got to pay their players. They've still got to pay their staff. They've still got to pay everyone. The flow-on effect I think this will have as a business is you will see salary caps come way, way down next year. You will see the luxury tax. You'll see players having to take pay cuts in their contracts as part of this. I don't see a way out of it otherwise. We've already lost so much money from the NBA because of the Daryl Morey tweet, and now this. 2 in 1 year. We know China's a big consumer of the product, and their consumption is going to be lower now as well. It'll recover as a business, but there's so many unknowns still. It's still left to run its course. I mean, this is a pandemic. We probably haven't seen this kind of a pandemic in the professional athlete era, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, for sure. Yep.
You look at probably the last real pandemic we had, which was the swine flu in like 2009, and yeah, it affected a lot of people, but it wasn't quite the same as this. This is so easily transmissible, and professional athletes are testing positive, and it's just a different beast. In 1918 the world was gripped by war. This is the pandemic we're going to be, really, is the Spanish flu. The world was gripped by war. No one was playing sport. Sport was still an amateur event. We don't know the economic ramifications of this. I think some leagues around the world will die. I think the most at-risk financially leagues around the world won't survive this. Here at home, I think of rugby union. I don't think it will survive this, a shutdown.
About the A-League?
It would be very unlikely. It's kind of one of those things. Is then it all reverts back to the kind of prehistoric days where only the most successful and wealthy leagues survived, with people with money, and all these other kind of things are just waiting for government bailouts and handouts, and who do they give money to? And I think the NBA will survive fairly well. It's such a big product, and all the players will live, most likely. They're all healthy, they've not got comorbidities. But mate, I don't know if you've seen Jim Boylan, man. That dude's fat as. He gets COVID-19, he may get knocked off. So there goes the Bulls head coach.
Yeah, we can afford to lose him. No, I'm just kidding. I think you're right, man. It's just a surreal thing to go back and actually look at the structure of what this virus is going to do to the actual league, and how you kind of take it for granted. It's in your life. You get up every day. You look at your thing. Oh, who's playing today? This team's playing today. we're in Australia and we're not actually connected to the actual vibe of the NBA. Like we do NBL stuff, and the NBL's like, it feels like we're closer to that. And like even thinking about the NBL, we're like, well, I don't really want to go out on Sunday night, man. Like,
No.
and watch the Kings sit with a bunch of swell. And then we went out the other night, and now I've got a bit of a scratchy throat. You can kind of hear me, and I'm just sort of thinking, ooh, I wonder
Yeah,
if
man.
I've
I've
picked
been.
something up. But it's the whole psyche surrounding it. Really, it's just surreal, man. It's just a surreal thing to think about. The other thing too, like if all these sports go dormant, what does that mean? Like, do we just go, wow, 2 years and then, a sport came back? Oh, cool. Like, we can finally bring the A League back. Or, oh, cool. We can finally bring the NBL back. And then, you've lost 2 years. Player salaries are in limbo. Players are in limbo. It has a flow on effect. I don't know how, like, if everyone just turns into hermits, like, how do you then have a sport that actually is a professional sport making money, and actually broadcasting? Like, I guess you could make everything free and broadcast into people's bubbles, home bubbles type of thing. But beyond that, man, I don't know how much of a hit, like the NBA can take a hit, but I don't know how much some of these other sports can take a hit in
Yeah, I
terms of.
don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't know how much. I think a lot of American sports are probably fine. There's so much money involved, but a lot of the small sports, maybe the semi-professional sports over there, I don't know how this can happen and how this can take a hit. Again, unprecedented, really, in professional sport. Really, really unprecedented. Professional sports really only been around since the maybe the 60s, late 50s, where this was their full-time job. They were paid a decent salary, and that kind of elite salary in the world. So this is really unprecedented. We're not going to see anything like this. But the best guess estimates is this is going to really knock around for 12 months. Does the NBA just cut its losses and then reevaluates next season? I mean, for us as Aussies, Ben Simmons, obviously we think he's going to be out for a long, long time.
Yeah,
I don't.
like we're hearing things from aggregators, that Ben Simmons could be out pretty much to the new season, which maybe you want COVID to take down the entire league just so you can see Ben Simmons back next year.
Yeah.
But the other thing too, like, I mean, say this season's a write-off, right? This season's over. We're not going to play this season. Like, LeBron James was having a pretty amazing season, and you think he's 35 and a big flagship guy in the league. Like, what does that mean? Like, you just, okay, well, that's the end of the season and that's it. I guess, how do they quarantine all these players and then make sure they can actually keep the product going? It's not possible. Surely it's not possible.
Well, I think there's two things that you can think about here, and I'd like to, this is an idea, and I'm sure that Adam Silver, who's already kind of positioned this idea for next season, is that maybe when this has started to run its course, all the players get into an area, it's all cordoned off, it's just players, it's closed door, and they play a tournament, and the tournament kind of dictates the winner. You know what I mean? It's not 7-game series, playing a round robin tournament, play elimination finals. And you give yourself a product for this year as the guys, the NBA champions. And this is the product that we've been able to kind of put together for this year, to give all these guys a bit of a chance to actually have, because playing 6 games, having your Achilles torn, having your knee done, breaking your ankles, breaking your wrists, and then for what? Nothing. Like it just goes into ether because everyone's got a virus. I think there needs to be closure, if you know what I mean. There needs to be closure to the season more than, hey, we've just suspended it. But again, I think this will be a week by week moving scenario. I don't think we fully grasp what this is going to be from a financial standpoint, an economic standpoint, from an individual standpoint, from a healthcare standpoint. You look at what's happening in the worst affected countries now, and it's scary. So you only hope that everyone's good, all the players are healthy, and if they do get it, then they just make a full recovery, and everyone gets back to norm. And hopefully, we find out, hey, once you have it, then you can never get it again, and it's all good. You can go back into society, and maybe everyone just has COVID parties. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get it. Why not just get it whenever? Let's have a COVID party.
It's really like everything now hinges on the vaccination or the cure,
which is never coming. I hate to tell you this, but The
Yeah.
vaccination's at least 2 years away, and by that stage, it's going to have burned through the whole of society. So, in a medical sense, that vaccination's a false hope. I think people will be waiting for far too long. I think the virus probably would have burned through most of the populace before then, and we'll have to see what happens from there. If it's like a seasonal, if it just becomes another seasonal influenza, then we will go down the vaccination route, because you don't want this just to be changed a little bit and then your body has to fight this every year, because that will be the end of the world as we know it. Imagine having to go through this every year, where you're just shutting down whole entire economies because this thing's overwhelming your health system. And even on a bad flu year, it's not this bad. Even in the swine flu pandemic around the world, it was never this bad. It was a hard work, but in Italy at the moment, they're choosing who lives and dies. That's just really crazy, and we hope that wherever you're listening in, that it never comes to that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's going to change people's lives.
This is the reality of it.
Change society, like the fabric of society. I don't think is going to be the same after this.
No.
If what we're looking at is predicted to happen is going to come to pass, like people are going to have to think differently about getting into open spaces with other people, and once you sort of start doing that, I guess it changes how you consume things, how you and your own mentality as an individual. Like, I don't want to go and just hang around with like lots of other people and just be like, yeah, there's a 1 in 30,000 chance that I could get this disease if I go and watch this game and hang around all these other people.
But let's get back to some positives. I think pre COVID-19 and some basketball. Obviously, Ben Simmons, we've just spoken about. Nothing really happening there, just some injury stuff. Brokoff hasn't signed a new contract. It's kind of come to a bit of fruition. But I don't think Brokoff really wanted to go to Europe in hindsight, because Europe is just as messed up as the US. So, and Bolden,
come back to Australia, Brokoff.
That's it, mate. Come back home. Bolden, come back home. Might be an upside to that. Playing the NBL 1. Hey, we might get some guys playing in the NBL 1. But man, big balls, Baines, banging buckets. Before all this was the episode was going to be titled "Big Balls, Baines, Banging Buckets" Part 2.
Yeah, definitely. That 37-point game, man, that was nuts.
The dude had the thing on the stat that will blow your mind that I was talking to Ben. There's only 2 players in history that have 15 rebounds and 9 threes made in a game. That's James Harden and Aaron Baines. That is nuts. Good.
Admittedly, you did say assists. He's been before we did the start of the podcast. And you were telling me this. You said assists, and I was like, "Whoa!"
I meant rebounds.
When you said rebounds, then I was just like, "Oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense." Oh wow, your internet has made you the size of a postage stamp. What's going on with that?
Hey, so I'm on Optus. Oh, yeah. I'm on Telstra.
Now your audio is breaking up.
Crap.
So yeah, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. There's nothing much we can do. We just eat the quality issues and just keep plowing on. Yeah, Bainesy, that game, what a shame. Like he's just exploded back onto the scene for the Suns. It kind of sucks that the Suns didn't have any, there was nothing. They weren't playing for anything. He came back and he was looking quite good in his first couple of games. Then he just sort of caught fire. He was shooting the ball really well. The Suns were like, started quite hot when he came back, and you were just like, after All-Star break, ooh, the Suns, like, this is interesting. Maybe they might get up towards sort of 30 games, 30 wins rather. And then, now this happens. That's again another sort of, oh man, like this awesome stuff was happening, and now it's just like the league finishes now. Oh, great.
Well, this is also the disappointing thing, I suppose, for Australian basketball. Is if the Olympics is cancelled, the season is cancelled, this is the end of the golden generation of Australian basketball. We won't see Bogut in a Boomers jersey. We won't see Bainesy in a Boomers jersey. Probably won't see Paddy at the next Olympics, to be honest with you. That would be pushing, I think, a stellar career. I think there'll probably be some younger players come through by that stage that'll take his place. Probably won't see Delhi. So this is like the golden generation of Australian basketball. We won't see Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles, 33 this year? Or he'll be 37. This is it. This was the time that we had the best talent that we've ever had, and this virus has taken us away our ability to win an Olympic gold medal. and I'm very disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah, kind of sucks. I think going into that World Cup, we would have had a nice. That's again another thing where you're just like, oh man, like why does this have to happen? Like, breakdown of society. Couldn't you have just waited until after the Olympics? Like this sucks. But I think I'm just so happy to see Bainesy back. Like I think he started the season so well. He was flying, and everyone was just like, "Wow, Baines, like a new lease of life. He's playing as his best self. He's just doing whatever he wants to do out on the basketball court in a Suns team that started quite well. The middle of the season, they kind of reverted back to type, and then he got injured, and then now he's come back and he's doing, getting hot again. Like I'm so happy for him, but it's just another story where you're like, that's a real shame. But I'm just trying to get his box score up here that he had that game. Anyway, yeah, you were saying.
No, it's kind of like, well, that was for nothing. More in the sense that you won't be able to see more of that this year. I don't think the Suns would have made the playoffs, but it was good to see. And the Spurs kind of being Spursy a little bit again, and once he Paddy back, and it's a real shame that we're getting no product for a little bit of time. But in saying that, this will continue. I think what I've planned to do is put together a bit of a G League special for everyone. Obviously, the G League's been postponed or cancelled as well, but a lot of Aussies playing in the G League. We've been meaning to put a G League podcast together just to update you on the G League season and who's been playing really well. We'll get time to do that now. We'll put together something for you guys in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's kind of just all come to a grinding halt. And
so who have we got in the G League now?
We've got Venky Joyce playing for Memphis Hustle, getting some minutes, getting some buckets.
Still shooting terribly from the free throw line?
Like 39%.
That's pretty awful.
William McDowell-White and Matur Maker playing for the Houston, Texas Legends.
So does Matur Maker, he went undrafted, did he? Or is his draft this year?
No, he's undrafted.
So he went undrafted. Okay, McCurr and Matur, yeah. All right, yeah.
Yeah, so I think McCurr Maker's entering the next year's draft, or this year's draft. Bloody Makers. Yeah, so they play for the Houston Rockets franchise.
Yeah.
We got Dangadell playing for the Long Island Nets. We have Isaac Humphries playing for the Orlando Knockoff, which is the Lakeland Magic.
The Orlando theme parky guys.
And that's pretty much it, I believe. Yeah. That's it. So we got 5 in the G League.
We sort of were, you said Humpho, yeah. We sort of were looking at Jonah Bolden maybe playing some
he was
G League, yeah.
He was playing for the Delaware Bluecoats, but then got waived and can't play any G League. So yes, interesting.
And then, there was another young guy who was gonna go and play G League as well, but I can't remember who that was.
Oh, there was one other. Sorry, there is a Sudanese guy. This escapes me. Sudanese national, obviously Aussie. That'll have to be the G League podcast. I'll have all that
you'll have to do some research, but I know that I think there was somebody else.
There is someone else. What's his name though? What is his name?
I can't think of who it is.
Who's he play for?
I'm racking my brain. I've tried to Google.
Yeah. No. It's not going to happen.
It's gone. Should we shift gears onto Delhi's little resurgence?
Yeah, man, we shall. Like
crazy amount of assists. He had a game against Denver, 14 assists. Did they win that game? They won that game against Denver. 14 assists. The 3-ball is still a bit disappointing, but he's making a couple more. He had a couple of 2 of 2, 2 of 3 games, 2 of 6, 5 against Boston. But it's good. It's good to see him making a couple.
What I like about Delhi is that he wasn't waived, and that gives me great hope that Cleveland are looking to re-sign a good veteran. You know what I mean? Gives me great hope that he will continue in the NBA with Cleveland, who are in rebuild mode. And that he's getting some game starts, and that's obviously before all this virus blew up, and 30 games left in the season. Oh, sorry, not 30 games, 18 games left in the season. good 18-game run to finish the season may have brought his game back a little bit and gotten him ready for the Olympics and potentially moving towards next season playing for the Cavs again. It'd be good he could stay with the Cavs his entire career. I think that would be a nice thing. Vet min, savvy player, obviously, plays well, dishes dimes. They need a playmaker, man. That team is just terrible without someone controlling the pace and the tempo. So it's good to see Delhi back to his good old best.
And playing a lot of minutes too. 35 against Boston, 31 against Denver, 44 minutes against San Antonio with a win in that game. Shot 3 of 11. That's not great, but and then 34 minutes against Chicago. I think that was 2 days ago. Yeah, on the 10th. And again, another one where you're just like, oh man, he just was, having a little resurgence, a little renaissance there. And now, no more games for the rest of the season, which sucks kind of for him. But yet another one. Who else should we move on to now? Patty Mills?
Yeah, Patty just having a consistent season, scoring well, playing with Pop. Although I think the Pop era has come to an end.
I think, with or without COVID-19, I think the Spurs were destined to kind of not make the playoffs.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was looking like Memphis would pretty much kind of lock in that spot with the Trailblazers, and the Pels were making a bit of a run with Zion coming back. And then the Kings were kind of a bit too hit and miss. Like I watched a few Kings games. And I was like, I like this Kings team. This is interesting. But they were still a little bit hit and miss. But I felt like the Spurs were just not going to make it. Like they were done.
No. Done and dusted. And
bit sad, Ingles, really. Bit sad.
It all comes to an end. It has to. It has to. Even dynasties come to an end. And he took the DeRozan pathway and didn't really work, and Aldridge didn't really work, and we were missing a good center, and that was the end of that chapter.
Patty, 24 points against Indiana, 13 points against Charlotte, and then 12 points against Dallas. Average. But though they did beat Dallas, that was a pretty good win. I watched some of that game too.
Yeah, I don't think Luka was playing though.
No, I think Luka only just came back today. I saw him, or maybe yesterday, I saw him stripe a 3. And then I saw Porzingis stripe a 3 as well. And I was like, ooh, that stroke is looking pretty good. But yeah,
although this is a stat. What do you think Luka Doncic's 3-point percentage is?
Oh, it's 30%, isn't it? It's around 30%.
It's 31%.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not great, is it?
But I think he's changed. Like he's doing a lot more in the offense now. So it's kind of like his 3-point attempts are a lot of his own shot creation and not much else. So you kind of, a second-year rookie that's not necessarily super athletic, you kind of look at that and go, yeah, I can understand why he's 3 points down a little bit.
Yeah.
He's creating a lot of shots. He's not doing a lot of off-ball work too. Like his usage is like astronomically sky high. I think he's one of the highest usage players in the league.
Yeah.
And up there with Harden. Although Harden and Russ have been sharing the ball a little bit for those two.
Yeah, but that team just was always going to fall over. They just looked terrible. Terrible, no center, terrible.
And then all that small, what a shame that small ball experiment's going to come to an end. We're not going to see we'll see how that one plays out.
Indeed. And,
Jingle and Joe, yeah. So ground zero, patient zero,
patient zero, Joe Ingles. That would be an interesting if Jingle and Joe got it with that white wobbly body of his. See if he manages to stave that one. Oh, look, no, he had a little bit of resurgence. Obviously got booted out of the lineup for Mike Conley, and has kind of resurged in the last few games. But he's a guy that goes that kind of really roller coaster. Like you'll see him, he's just hot, and then just like 2 points a game. He's only taken one shot. It's like you're like an offensive genius in the corner. Just why are you taking one shot a game? Like it's ridiculous. So
the best things happen for him when he's on the ball, and then the Jazz, but at the same time, like he's a you can have it if you want it type of offensive guy as well, which fits the Jazz at the same time as doesn't quite fit the Jazz, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And then with Conley, like you're jamming Conley into this team, and that's not really working. And then like Rudy Gobert's been quite good this season, but at the same time, not dynamic enough to knit the team together. Like what he does is a plus, and it affects the team in a positive way. But in terms of his own individual skill set that suits the Jazz team, like you're not looking at that just going, you know what, he's an all round powerhouse and he suits this team. He kind of like finishes lobs around the rim. He's not great, and
Yeah.
then doesn't provide that spacing for guys like Bogdanovic and Joe Ingles, and then Mike Conley hasn't seemed to get into any kind of rhythm with him at all this season. So the Jazz season was up, and then it's kind of gone down after All-Star break.
Yeah, and it's going to kind of ride that wave all the way to the end, and they would have picked up the 5th or 6th seed, and then maybe made a second round appearance, but pretty much stock standard for the Jazz over the last 3 years.
Yeah, pretty much. They were looking at they're at the 4th seed. They're in the 4th seed now as the league gets suspended. A series against OKC. I don't know. This OKC probably beats them.
Yeah.
This Rockets maybe. They finally vanquished the Rockets. Third time lucky or fourth time lucky?
Well, that's a good question.
Fourth, I think, maybe. Off the top of my head. Nah, third probably. And then who else can we go to after that? I can't remember who's in the league. So Joe Ingles, Patty Mills, Dellavedova, Bainesy, and then Simmons is out injured.
Gone. Brokoff is gone. Exum is injured, obviously, with his ankle. That dude is just jelly. He's not got the NBA internals, internal body fortitude for the NBA. Unfortunately, I just I really worry about that. It's just been an injury-prone career. So,
oh man, B-ball ref has NBL stats. Hectic. Did not know that because I'm trying to look up Aussies so I can find the old Aussies. Like it's this whole COVID, man, has just thrown everything into chaos.
Yeah, man.
My brain has just gone to mush because I don't know. It's just a real feeling, man. It really is just a surreal experience. Just being like, man, the whole of society could break down here.
Just wake up every morning, go through the world meters info, and just go, how many people have got it today? It just keeps ticking up every time you go on. It's like, there's another death, there's another death, there's another death. Slowly, what are we up to?
So Ryan Brokoff's gone. Dante Exum is injured. Simmons is injured. And then that pretty much rounds out. We've got 4 Aussies now in a suspended league.
Such high hopes, such a low finish.
Yeah, just.
But watch this space. I suppose we'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
We'll come back and do a G League wrap next week. Maybe with a mini update in that, and then we'll kind of take it and play it by ear from there.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We'll be back probably early next week.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. Sweet. All right. Take it easy, Ron.
Peace.